Oh, hello everyone. On behalf of the Sparta Brokers support team, thank you so much for taking this time out of your busy day to participating in this underwriter event. There'll be an opportunity to ask any questions of the Centrix team at the end of the presentation, so please keep your microphones on mute until then. And whilst we'd love to see all your faces, we're told that keeping the camera switched off improves the connection. So that's enough from me. Allow me to introduce the founder and managing director of Centrix, Mark Hands. Over to you, Mark.
Yeah, morning everybody. I'm just taking control of the screen, so just bear with me while that comes through.
Mark, just as you know, while you weren't on, I've just given them a bit of history of when we set up, when we started trading in about June last year. I haven't done anything on our capacity holders or our owners. I've just talked briefly about your background in terms of coming from Mercy and that we're independent.
Yeah, fine. Well, hopefully you can see the presentation now.
Much bigger, much better.
That's much better, much bigger.
Yeah,
thank you.
perfect.
He says, pressing two things at once. So yeah, Claire's just sort of summarised there what we're about and where we come from. It's actually our second birthday today in terms of when we were registered with Companies House. We're, as Claire mentioned, we're independently owned. We're not part of a larger broking group. We're not part of a consolidator. And this week we actually submitted details who our owners are on Companies House. It's quite interesting reading. It's basically four individuals, one of whom is the Earl of Plymouth, who has invested quite heavily in our model, which gives us very strong financial stability. Model is built around working with A-rated capacity providers to provide a suite of products backed up by strong underwriting service from our team. We operate with one broker per geographical location. So by limiting our distribution, Claire just mentioned there, not everybody gets access to our terms. We operate with a quote and bind system, which I'll run through with you briefly in a moment. And we also operate on an open market presentation basis. So whatever the risk, you can access us online for the products that are on our system, but we do encourage open market presentations. And we've got underwriters who'll give you a call back and talk you through those presentations with a view to writing the risk as opposed to the computer said no. So our underwriters have all got over 35 years underwriting experience, which kind of sets us apart from a lot of the other MGAs that are out there at the moment. So if I take you through our quote and bind system, having worked for large insurers who push brokers down the route of using the system, I think one of the biggest frustrations is for a broker when he puts a quote on and goes through every single page only to find out that the risk isn't competitive, or sorry, the quote isn't competitive. So here I'm just showing you an example of our quick quote. So within less than a minute, you'll get a feel as to whether or not we are competitive for that particular risk. As you can see, it took absolutely no time at all. So just to show you that again, because it is unbelievably quick. And there you go, there's your premium. All your documents are there ready to go as well. So you can have a look at those before you put through a full-blown quote. These are the products that we've got online at the moment. We actually added group PA and sickness last week, and we're not far away from launching a retail product, which actually takes us up a notch or two in terms of the volume of business that's out there for us to write through the system. I'll just take you through a quick quote now. As you can see, all drop down. There's over 1,000 trades all stored alphabetically, and you can search through them by keying. You can type in architect and it will throw that up for you. Limits of indemnity, you've got some choices there. Details of turnover, all very clear and quick to do. And there you can see we give you terms with different levels of liability, so you can give a comparative quote to the client very, very quickly. And then to bind the risk, again, very simple, click button. And you'll notice each of these buttons, it's a yes, no answer. We don't default to the answer that we would like. So from the broker's perspective, it gives the ability to double check and sense check the information that you're giving us. Then just put in details of when you want to go and cover, insured name, postcode, find address. Date the business was established, any claims information. Again, very easy to input. Continue. Is there anything that we should know about that you haven't told us? And then any reason if you want to refer the risk. So if you wanted to refer it because you wanted another 10% discount, you fill that within that box. Or you wanted an amendment to the statement of fact. Put the renewal target premium in. The system will do its best to get to that target premium using its algorithms. And then again, we give you the quote based on different levels of discount, which you can use yourself. Select the one you want. Premium summary. 20% commission. £25 fee. There's your documents. There's your endorsements. And then click on the buy button. And job done, basically. So quite an easy system to use. I was part of the team at LV that developed their quote and bind system. We followed a lot of the principles there because they worked, and we're really conscious that your guys' time is limited, and therefore the best way of getting things through is to minimise any human intervention in getting the case on cover. So just to talk about the products themselves, tradesman wages and turnover and landowners liability. Standard limits on those products, 1 million, 2 million and 5 million, and an option for 10. As I mentioned earlier, there's over 1,000 trades on the system. And the capacity provider for these three products is Convex, which is the new reincarnation of Stephen Catlin. So A-rated paper, very strong in the market. And at the moment, quite limited distribution because it's fairly new. So for us, that's a big win and a very, very strong partnership. Landowners, just to touch on that, we've got grazing, moorland, woodland, pasture land, rough country, private roads, unlimited acreage. And we're actually selling quite a lot of that at the moment, which is obviously a good sign. Then got terrorism, that's atrium capacity, minimum premiums £50 plus IPT, and sums insured go up to 10 million. There's some enhanced non-damage extensions available: denial of access, public utilities, loss of attraction, contingent financial loss, brand rehabilitation, and public authority. So quite a wide product there, and again, very strong capacity sitting behind it. We then got cyber, wide standalone policy. There's a 24/7 claim service. We appoint an incident manager within 2 hours, and it's for businesses with a turnover up to 10 million, and the capacity for that is provided through Canopius. Loss, we're backed here by Allianz, so doesn't get much stronger than that. Public and products liability layers up to 15 million. Businesses up to 350 million pound turnover. It's a standalone policy and can follow all authorised EU registered insurers. And overseas exposures are acceptable on that product. Mentioned earlier that we've just launched personal accident. Retail packages on its way. We're constantly adding new products, both online and offline. Recently mentioned on LinkedIn on a video I did that the list of partners we have is extremely impressive. And when you think that we're a business that's only 2 years old, we're far from being a one-trick MGA. We've got a wide range of products backed by A-rated insurers who want to sell those products. So by having an insurer aligned to individual product lines, it means that they want to work with us on those products, which I believe gives us a distinct advantage as opposed to having all our eggs in one basket, and at times forcing carriers to write business that they may not feel comfortable with it. It's all part of our professional approach and our long-term, we're a long-term project. We're not in for a quick win and a quick sale. We're very much built around the long term. So I mentioned earlier, it's not all about online. Offline, we've got binders in place with Convex. We've got binders that we use through the likes of Eaton Gate, and we're just about to launch a binder with Channel at Lloyd's. So again, we're not pushing all our business into one hole. Recent and written cases, as you'll see, building contractors, public house, commercial combined, hotel, property owners, contractors combined. We are writing a lot of hospitality business at the moment, and I'm hearing reports that the composites are starting to shy away from that type of business whilst not providing a sufficient level of service. Tomorrow, it's quite exciting for us, we're launching a product specifically aimed at unoccupied property owners. So tomorrow we launch the residential part of that offering, and in 3 weeks time, we launch the commercial unoccupied product, and that is underwritten by Channel at Lloyd's. So A-rated paper. We believe there's a gap in the market. Broker feedback was that these risks were becoming difficult to place at renewal. We found a carrier that believes that through our distribution they can write large amounts of unoccupied business. Their view is that if you write plenty of it, we can do it at a competitive premium. And at the end of the day, they're taking an overall underwriting view that if the client manages the risk properly, inevitably it should come through with a decent loss ratio. So that's another string to our bow that's following quite shortly. Customer service wise, our ethos is all around good service. Details there of our 2 lead underwriters. So if ever you want to contact us, about a risk, that's the best way of doing it. As I mentioned before, both have got over 35 years underwriting experience. Both have worked for composites, both have worked for MGAs, very strong pedigree, very strong background. And we're finding that we're striking the right balance in terms of writing the right risks with our carriers. And although we're only 2 years in, our loss ratios are extremely impressive. And that's down to their expertise and the fact that if it's the right risk, we throw everything at the mix. So good service isn't just about answering the telephone, it's getting you the terms that you need as quickly as possible on the right basis, so you can get them back to the client. So that's it from me. I'll close that down. If anybody's got any questions, if you'd like to shout up.
Steve, before we start, did you have any come in writing at all?
No, not to us. We gave your details. We haven't got any written ones.
Hi, yes. On the quote and buy products, will it be automatically emailed to ourselves, or do we have to download the documentation?
It's a click to download.
Okay, thank you.
So on that particular screen, you highlight the documents, and then you can just click them straight into an email. Probably didn't mention we're turning referrals around at the moment within 3 hours.
Are there any sort of particular hotspots you would say you're particularly keen on?
Hospitality, we're very strong, and it's for the right hospitality risks. We're particularly strong on anything building related, so contractors. In terms of commercial combined, we've had a lot of success in writing risks where there's a bit of a story. So you tell us why it's not fitting elsewhere, and we're finding that we're writing it at the right premiums. Generally, we're finding that we're coming in cheaper than renewal terms that are being offered by the composites, which means that a lot of the business we are writing is coming from composites who are trying to push rating increase through, a lot of the time last minute. So renewal terms are going out late, and because we're geared up for that fast turnaround, we're able to get our brokers the terms back within days, if not quicker if needed.
Okay, thanks. I've also come across situations where brokers have asked about portfolio or transfers of portfolios of business. They may well have an insurer where they've only got a few cases with and another insurer a few. Is that something that you're happy to look at, maybe looking at a book of business to consolidate it?
Most definitely. We've actually got a broker who is moving business to us mid-term, which helps us then get the renewal terms ready for them in advance of renewal. But yeah, if you can get us all the MI regarding the portfolio, I'm working on one at the moment where we're leaving some of the business where it is because it wasn't overly profitable.
But we'll happily talk to you about them. If you want to come to either Mark or I, then we'll have a conversation with you about that. Mark, there's a question coming on the comments. Do you have a market for roofing contractors? We go up to a certain height. We go up to 15 metres. We
can look at it. Is it pure roofing contractors, I guess, is my question, or is it a general builder who does roofing? Yeah, I guess the answer, Donna, is that not high-risk roofing contractors, but we need to know a little bit more about the risk to have a look at it. She's put yes, pure. Hold on, I can't see it now.
Yes, pure roofing contractors. She cannot unmute.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
On your commercial combined, is that by presentation or is there something on the system that we can upload the information to?
By presentation.
Thank you.
And then Martin Child has asked, do policies have a legal expenses option?
Some have it built in. It's built into our commercial combined, for example. The binder that we're now building, starting off with the unoccupied property, that doesn't have legal expenses built in, but we have got the option to add it if the client wants it. I think it's a very good question. Insurers now have started to lump it in and see it as a way of making money. It's built into ours, but we will have a product whereby the broker has the option to use their own. Hopefully that answers your question, Martin.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Mark, are there any examples you can give of any strange risks that you've binded or helped out a broker last minute, just to give these guys an understanding of how you support and help?
Yeah, one that springs to mind is a lighthouse in Scotland that was converted into a bed and breakfast. Nobody wanted it because it was a lighthouse. Well, it used to be a lighthouse. It's been stood up there for a couple of 100 years, and it's now a B&B, and it's the most solid construction you come across. But it was a good example of one where insurers are pushing it down the online route. But if you have the conversation and actually look at the risk, it's probably one of the best guest houses we've got on the books. But nobody wanted to insure it. One product line I didn't mention on there was high net worth. We've actually been writing high net worth for footballers, would you believe? And that's been quite interesting to watch, an area that I didn't think we'd go into, but it fits the capacity of providing us with the products. And we've now got a number of celebrity clients. And to me, that demonstrates that the brokers that we're working with are very trusting of us, because they'll trust us with their most important VIP clients. In terms of unusual, we've looked at cases where there's like a view, and I think generally insurers are getting very rules based. So we've got risks on the books that others have turned down because of claims experience. But when the client is able to demonstrate that they put things in place to ensure those things don't happen again, we've actually been quite receptive to quoting and indeed going on cover. One thing I'm a great believer in is that, as a business, it works on relationships and it works on trust. And if a broker's open and honest about the risk, we'll fully consider it and see what we can do, as opposed to getting it off our desks and saying no quickly. We're all about building a partnership. And I think a partnership works both ways. If we want the cream, there are times when we have to take the rough end of the stick, and business that perhaps others don't want.
Thanks, Mark. Mark, there's another question from Donna, whose mic isn't working, as you know. How are you regarding flood cover?
Yeah, we use a flood mapping database. Again, one of the good things about having more than one carrier is that different carriers use different flood mapping models. And with one of our carriers is quite happy to exclude flood if the client needs it to get cover. So I guess the answer to the question is we can be quite clever in how we approach underwriting the risk. And because we've got more than one carrier, we're using more than one flood mapping instrument. But if the client can't get flood cover, we are happy to exclude it and get the risk written for you.
She says, great, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's just testament to what we try to build. We want to work with brokers to write risks.
Yeah.
And if that means we've got to run it through 3 different systems to get the right answer with the right insurer, we'll do that.
And another question. Can you include demolition as part of a builder's liability policy? That's one I haven't been asked before.
No. My gut answer would be no, but I'll go away and find out for you. I'll come back to you on that, Simon.
I'll write that one down, Mark, so we don't forget. If anybody
Okay.
does think of any questions after the event, then feel free to drop us a line and we'll come back to you with the answers on them at any time. Because sometimes you put the phone down after the event, don't you? And think, oh, I meant to ask such and such. So yeah, please feel free just to drop us a note. I'm sure Steve sent you a contact email out to send it to us anyway. So if you just use that, and then we'll pick them up and reply. So how many brokers do you currently work with, and what is the maximum you could accommodate before service levels suffer? Ooh.
Right. We've got 150 brokers with active Tobers with us, and we've got roughly 40 to 45 brokers who work with us actively. At the moment, obviously, we're staffed at the right level to deliver the service, stretching service standards that we put in place. As a business, and again, we'll probably have to edit this out of the video that we send round afterwards, but as a business, we've got ambitious growth plans, and to deliver those, we need to grow in terms of size of resource. Obviously, we're coming out of the pandemic now, touch wood. I've got a view that come September, we'll be looking to recruit additional underwriting headcount. I've also got a view that there'll be people out there who perhaps would like to work in an agile, flexible environment. So don't really want to travel into a city centre, an hour and a half commute each way, and would rather have the flexibility that we can give them. I also feel there'll be a core of people who may well be on furlough at the moment and might be made redundant in September. So we do want to increase our broker base. We're conscious we've got to build our headcount at the right time to ensure that we're providing the levels of service that we are at the moment. And I'm extremely confident that we can make sure that those two things are balanced. Quote and bind, for example, doesn't really need that much resource sitting behind it. And our model is probably, well, it is built around quote and bind and open market, old fashioned underwriting. So yeah, we're confident that we can get to roughly 100 brokers who are working with us on a continual basis. We've got a spread now that we've got an office in Glasgow, which gives us local access to the brokers up there, as opposed to try and manage relationships centrally. I guess as time goes on, my view would be that I'd like to have underwriters spread across the country in different locations. We've proven we can do it. We've got all the new technology that we've invested in. So yeah, I don't think we'll hit that maximum, because we'll continually be building the business with people. And at the end of the day, the business is all about us getting the right people in. And touch wood, we've done that so far. And we can continue to do so as we evolve and grow. So hopefully that answers your question, Peter.
Naive question from me, Mark. What about North and South Ireland? Do you have any difficulty with covering the territory?
We can do the north, but not the south.
Right.
And I have got talks going on with carriers going forwards regarding the south. But at the moment, there's a bit of a minefield with Brexit and all sorts of other issues. But we are actively writing business in the north of Ireland at the moment, and that'll continue.
Okay.
Okay. I think a lot of the brokers that have joined us today do have existing agencies, which is obviously great. And I hope that obviously what Mark's explained today has helped you understand a little bit more about what Centrix is all about. For those of you that don't have an agency, just to let you know, if you wish to apply for an agency, and I hope you'll do, then that application form can be found on the Sparta website under the partnership arrangement. All you do is need to click on the partnerships. You'll find Centrix there. Just click on the application. It's a short application form, and that goes then straight to Mark and his team, and they'll process the agency from there. If you can't find it, then obviously give Steve, myself, or Andrew a shout, and we'll guide you.
Thanks for that, Malcolm. When that comes to us, the process is fairly seamless. So it literally takes a matter of days, and you will have your agency up and running. And then at the point that your agency is allocated and running, what we'll need from you for your quote and bind access is a list of user names and user IDs. So the email address that you want it to be from and the name of the person. You can have as many as you want for your agency. We don't restrict that. So if you want everybody in your office to have one, you can all have one, and that will enable you then to, all of you trade at the same time on the system. It just means it makes it more fluid for all of you, and we literally issue those straight away. So, and they come direct to you. The access comes to you, not to us for us to then send it on. So there's no middleman. It comes direct to you.
Yeah, and just adding to that, going forwards, now we're coming out of lockdown. If any of you want us to come and meet you, we're more than happy to do so. I'm just conscious this is a virtual environment. There's nothing better than meeting face to face and running through what we have to offer. We tried to do it there in 30 minutes. We've got a lot of products and we've got a lot of things that we can bring to the table.
And Mark and I are fed up of being behind a screen, so we're quite keen.
Public houses are very much high on my
Yeah.
I think I read yesterday we each need to drink 124 pints to get the economy going.
We're going to try and help them along.
I don't think that's in one sitting though.
All right, guys, is there anything else that you wanted to add from the Centrix point of view? I don't think there's any more questions coming in. If
That's
not,
fine.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for your time today. We hope you found the event informative and useful. And please sign up on the partnership page on the website to connect with Centrix. Thank you very much, everybody, one and all, and enjoy your day.
Yeah. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.